Good morning. Looks like we're live. I'm Lucretia from Burning Up the Roads, and this is my morning juice. I've had one of these. This is actually a soup cup. I've turned into a coffee cup. Hope you've got something. I see some people are here. Let me take a sip, and then I will start saying hello, and we'll get on with the party. It's rain. Just so you know up front, it's been raining here for about 110 years. I miss quartzite. I miss the sun. All right. I know I'm a crazy person, but I do. And I've had enough of the rain. All right. So, John, hello to you. Welcome. You're new to my channel. I hope that you enjoy what you see here today and you will come back. And there is Miss Kaylee, my co-host on days when I don't have an interview. If she so chooses. We fell in love with Kaylee's ability to handle things. Class A Carrie, hello to you. Hi, Carrie. How are you doing? Glad you're here. And Roy and Becky Travels, thank you for the raid. I can always use a raid. Alberta Hinksman, hello, Alberta. And thank you for all the assist with the birds. These birds are so cute. I never ever in my wildest dreams that I'd like birds. I know it's ridiculous, but I just didn't. And I do. And Linda Barker, thank you for coming over. Catherine Cook. So Riverside, Iowa. So we have high humidity here too. So even when it's not raining, it's like a 58% humidity. And then I went and checked, and quartzite is about 3 to 8%. And that's probably why I didn't get sunburned like I do here. And we have Marshall from Mellow Nomadic Adventures, and we're going to be interviewing him today shortly here. Get into that interview. Let's see if I missed anybody. Timmy Ray the King, thank you for coming over from Roy and Becky. I know I saw you over there, so I appreciate you coming. California travel videos. Thank you. Thank you. Had to find some reading glasses for chat. Oh, I understand. And Van City Adventure. Thank you. I'm so glad you're here. So glad you're here. A Water Girl. Welcome, welcome. And there's Linda Barker. I think I said hi, but I'm going to say hi again, Linda. Everybody's saying hello to everybody. Aqua Adventurer, the Aqua Adventurer. Wow, thank you for coming. I appreciate it. And then Marshall, Kaylee again. All right, so I'm going to drop the link because I want to get started in this. Let me see if there's any, let me think real quick. If you are so inclined, then you could share this out on your own social media or your community tab. I would appreciate it. And if you haven't got a chance to do a thumbs up yet, feel free. I know I'll get about 3 thumbs down. It's pretty much how it works. And by the way, I'm down below 1,300 again. I'm down to 1,297. And I was so happy for 15 minutes. Really, I don't take that too seriously. I mean, it was nice to, get up another 100, but things change pretty fast in the world of YouTube. I have found out. And if my emotions are tied to that number, we're going to be an unhappy family where I live. Okay. So let me make sure. Did I drop it? There we go. We're going to get rolling with Marshall. Okay, Marshall, there we go. All right. So Marshall, when you are ready, you could give me a thumbs up, dear. All right. Just want to get right into this. Hey, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh, loud and clear. Loud and clear. Very good connection. All right. So first of all, thank you for coming, Marshall. I really appreciate it. I enjoy your channel. Your personality, the Mellow Nomadic Adventures, is perfect for you. That's a wonderful name, and it comes through. So let's see. Why don't we start with, I've got a little video I'm going to share here. about your, whoops, I wanted to share with the wrong thing. About your van, your conversion.
Nice.
All right. So I'm going to play this for just a minute, starting at this point.
Ukulele, a vintage travel bag that's actually part of an entire luggage set that I have that was my grandparents. I have a 5-foot folding table there with the bungee cord kind of helping hold that in there. It's my rear window cover. I have 2 gel pillows. This little pillow looking thing is actually an electric blanket for your vehicle. Only run those no longer than an hour at a time, it says. This is my blackout curtain. I bought one, 70 something inch, 80-inch curtain, and I cut it. And I used the top of it and the bottom of it to create both curtains for my side windows. And I'm just using tension rods. And they actually stay there. I usually at night.
I wanted to share that because it is.
And they actually stay there.
There we go. It's gone.
Usually at night.
I wanted to share that because it is.
And they actually stay there.
There we go. It's gone.
Usually at night.
I'm not sure why. Give me a second. Because it is.
And they actually stay there.
There we go. It's gone.
Usually at night.
I'm not sure why that's still going. Now I know why. Because I screwed up. All right. So I wanted to show that, Marshall, because you've done a really good job in your van. And Commander Vlogs, hello. If I miss anybody, I apologize. I want to really focus on Marshall here and his van and his traveling in it. So first of all, why don't you give us a little background and let us know what attracted you to traveling in a van?
Well, first, thanks for having me, Lucretia. It's such a pleasure to be on your show. So, in a little bit of a backstory here, when 2020 was starting, I was working as normal, but then once March hit, and I was actually coming back from New Orleans, and as soon as I got back to Kentucky, they were like, we're on lockdown, and they postponed the jobs because I had a few more jobs lined up. So for those of you that don't know, I work in film and television. I build sets, I design sets, I help decorate sets, and I'm a freelancer, so I can have jobs with different companies. Well, the company that I was working for, they had postponed all the jobs for the rest of the year, and it was March, and I was like, man, what am I going to do? I had all this time on my hands, so I started watching a lot of YouTube, and there were some channels in the beginning that just really inspired me, and one of them is the Nomadic Movement, and this is a channel that two American people who met, and they bought a short school bus and converted it, and they traveled around all over, down through Central America, South America, I think, all throughout the United States. Well, they ended up buying property. This is where I caught up with them. Is when they actually bought their property in Panama, and they've turned this property into a homestead. Mm-hmm. And so I was kind of, even though they kind of stopped doing the traveling life, the homestead part was really interesting to me because that's kind of in my 5-year vision for what I hope to accomplish on my channel. I would like to have a homestead in year 4 or 5. Hopefully at that point have some land somewhere to where I can kind of start building my own off-grid kind of homestead. So that's really how it started. I started watching them, and then I discovered Van City Adventure. Not Adventure. Well, I did discover him later, but it's Van City Van Life, actually. Chrome was a huge van life. You know, when you Google van life, it was like the first channel that came up. So I was watching a lot of his videos, and I just really got inspired to look into the lifestyle more. And so I just started researching from there.
I've owned several Dodge Grand Caravans, and and this is the insane, but this is so the ignorance of someone like me in the newbie part of learning about this. I envisioned Richard and I, a couple, doing that in a Grand Caravan. I really,
Oh, wow.
I know it. I mean, I was really thinking small for two people, and but I think that they're perfect for one person. I really do. If I was completely alone in this world, I would maybe choose something like that personally.
Yeah, and that was kind of my thinking too, because I mean, right now I am single, so there's not someone else I have to think about right now. As I was doing my research, I came across a channel called Lex in Riot. She is a solo female nomad who started with her pickup truck and a camper, and now she has I think it's a 6x12 trailer that she pulls along, and that's converted into her living space. And I was just, looking at my options. I was like, what are my options? Because I couldn't afford, of course, my first option was the big high roof ProMaster or a van you could stand up in. But I wasn't in a position because I just lost my job. It had been postponed until the rest of the year. And I couldn't afford to buy a high top van after, I started looking at the prices of them, even the used ones. It was just out of my price range. So I was looking at what I had access to. I had my minivan already. So I was like, maybe I can convert this. And I started looking at the tow rating on it and found that while, maybe not ideal, you can tow up to 3,600 pounds with the Caravan. Mm-hmm. And so I kind of started developing a game plan. I was like, well, for just one person, the minivan would be great. But if I had a trailer that I could pull with me, then that would make it really comfortable, I think. It'd give me room to store my tools. I'd be able to travel to other markets, maybe even develop another business where I travel and help build sets in other states. Or I didn't even think about trying to build vans or help other people with their vans. But actually, once I started doing my videos, I did get contacted by someone. And I've already had my first van build job. It was a small job, but I helped someone with their floor in their Toyota Sienna. So I'd never worked with the Toyota before, but already just because I was showing my process, people were reaching out to me and asking for help. So, but the trailer, going back to the trailer, that was kind of, once I seen Lex and Riot in their channel, I say there because her dog's name is Riot. And so it's her and her dog, and they travel. She was a work camper. When I found her channel, she was work camping. And so that was another interesting thing about her channel that drew me in. And I just started watching her adventures and how she lived totally off grid in this cargo trailer with her truck. And, at first she didn't have solar. So I just watched her build it kind of piece by piece. And it, when you watch someone do that kind of process, it makes it seem like it's possible because, at first in the grand scheme, it's like, oh my God, I can't build a whole van. But once you start breaking it down into smaller pieces, you find you can do things like that. So the trailer at first was my big plan. But again, with the unstable financial situation of 2020, and then it just kind of, I focused on building the minivan because I already had it. I knew I didn't have to try to find another van. It was there. I was already using it for tools for when I was working on film sets. So I was like, why not go ahead and use it? So that's kind of what I did. But you're right. For two people, it would be a little bit tough. Now, I have seen a family of 4 make a minivan work. I don't suggest it though, because they had kids. So the kids are small. They had one in the front seats, like stretched across the front seats. It's possible, but I think for anyone who's single or anyone who's single, it's definitely a good way to travel across the country. And you can design it, make it however you need it, and that's the great thing because sure, there's tons of videos out there. And one thing that I tried from the get-go is just to try to set my build apart from others. Now, I did get inspired by Bob Wells
Yes.
over at Cheap RV Living. His bed, he had a video where he was building a bed for somebody in a minivan, and I just watched him do it, and I was like, that really looks really easy. Of course, now I've had carpentry experience before, so I kind of had an idea of what I wanted, but after I seen his design, and he was also recommending a particular mattress, which I ended up ordering, and then after that, I built everything else around the bed. So that's kind of how I started. It was just simple with a few 2x4s and some screws, honestly. And then just built it up from there.
There's even people, there's just 1 second. I really apologize. I'm in here with the birds today. I needed to, there's a reason I have to be in here, but let me just tell them something. Hey, birds. Eva, quiet down.
It's all good. Do you have parakeets?
Yes, we have parakeets, and we have a couple that just had 7 babies.
Oh,
and they're
wow.
all 7 are alive. And then there's a single one. She's over in her own cage because the couple picked on her. She was little.
Wow.
She wasn't growing quickly, and so the couple picked on her and pecked out. I was shocked that there's bullies even in the bird world. Hey, bully bird.
My parents used to raise parakeets.
I didn't. I'm like a big dog person. I like big dogs, and but I do love our beagle. She's precious. But I've always had, big dogs, and I'm very comfortable with them. But I didn't expect I'd like the parakeets, but it turned out I do, and they each have personalities. Oddly enough. So, what does your family think? So, do you plan on going full time eventually?
So my goal is to eventually spend an extended amount of time traveling in the van. Now, I do have a Sticks and Bricks place. It's a room that I rent with a couple of roommates in a house. And I've been working this whole, so once I decided that I wanted to pursue the van life, June 1st of last year was when I really got serious. So I started downsizing, going through things I had in storage at the house, and just selling things that I didn't no longer need, and downsizing basically. And I got to a point to where I'm almost all the way out of there. There's a few things left. I still have my bed. I have a dresser, but I've gotten most of everything else out. So I didn't want to get all the way out yet until I definitely knew some of these loose pieces that were in the puzzle here, as far as like, what am I going to do? So what I ended up doing for right now, because I was so anxious just to get out of that, it's just not a very good, for my creativity, it's not a good environment for me. So I just really wanted to get out of that neighborhood, out of that house. So I got a storage unit, a little 10 by 10 storage unit. And it's really too big for all the stuff I have, but it's about halfway full of, some things that it's hard to sell, or you don't want to just give away because you have money tied up in it, or you want to keep for later on. For example, if I do get a homestead, I have a bunch of like shovels and rakes and stuff to take care of your yard, or wheelbarrow. So I have a tiller to till your garden. So I have some things that I don't want to just have to give away or sell and then rebuy later. So I went ahead and got the storage unit for right now. My goal is to not have it any longer than the end of this year. And then I want to be finished with the storage unit and have a little bit more plan going on. I plan ahead, but nothing's ever set in stone. So you'll hear me talk about my 5-year YouTube plan. So we just hit the first year of it. June 1st, 2021 was year 1. And in that first year, I started my channel. I did a bunch of research. I started my channel. I built my van, and now we're on to year 2, where I'm hopefully getting more into the travel aspect, more into the camping out of my van, showing some of the processes and just how I do it in a minivan. So that's kind of what my year 2 is going to look like. And along the way, hopefully I'll be able to start scouting for properties too, even though I'm not in a position.
froze up just a bit here.
I have some meetups. Sorry, I don't know if that was me, but there's some meetups that I want to attend, and Kaylee's asking if I could put the yard and garden stuff in the shed on my parents' property. That would be amazing, Kaylee. So kind of another part of the backstory when I believe it was 3 years ago when we lost my grandmother, we had to clear out. She had a 6-bedroom house.
Wow.
And she just had tons of stuff. So in that process of downsizing her stuff, they bought a shed here on their land, and it's still got a bunch of her stuff in it. So there's not really any space. Now, I did think about buying my own shed and having it here on their property. So that's a great idea, Kaylee. That's definitely something I've thought about. And so just right now with so another part of the story is because I work in film and TV, we rely on the state of Kentucky's, they offer these film tax incentives.
Yeah.
Well, we got them taken away in 2018. So it's made working here very hard. The movies, I was doing about 12 films a year before that. And now since that has happened, it's maybe 2 films a year.
Wow.
So I've pivoted and started doing commercials, and which surprisingly they pay a lot better than film. So I'm going to stick to commercials, but because of the uneasiness of the work situation, I've kind of put buying a shed on hold and the trailer and all of that. But yeah.
So did you say you do sound? Sound and lighting?
So no, I do set building and design.
Set building, that's right.
Yeah.
So you had some skills, when you started this, and so some people, as you know, don't have any skills and they're starting from zero. And one of the people that I follow who has a van, and it isn't, I can't remember what kind hers is, but Minivan Lee. And she has very much a no-build build and doesn't even have a bed she sleeps on. She rolls it up every day, cleans up her little area, and it works. Honest to God, it's attractive. To me, that attracts me. I wish I didn't need some of the things that I really do need because of my disability issues. So, what does your family think about you doing? I'm going to grab a blanket for the bird cage for a second.
Yeah.
Can you just tell them, tell us what your family thinks about this? That's curious, always to me.
So I think for the most part, they're super supportive about it. I don't have a ton of family here in my state that I'm still in contact with. A lot of my family has passed on. So I have an aunt and I have my mom and dad. So thankful to still have them here. The other side of my family is out in Arizona, and so they're definitely huge supporters because one of my goals is to make it to Arizona. So of course they're supportive out there. Since I've started my YouTube channel, I've had several of my family members be very supportive, help me with watching videos, sharing them, commenting. They think it's interesting that I decided to go this route. They don't think that they could necessarily do it. I keep trying to talk my parents into buying a camper for their truck. I don't know. My dad, he has to have oxygen. So, that's one hurdle that we would have to figure out a way to have that if they went that route. But they're very supportive of it so far. So
cool. I know in my own family, boondocking with Boomer. Hello, Lance. Thank you for coming. Glad to have you here. So in my own family, it's not, but they think we're crazy. Especially when originally I thought in my mind, I had it planned out. I just wanted to go full time. I wanted to go from living in a sticks and bricks house for 59 years to, as it turned out, for the transition for me is not going to be quite as smooth. and there's going to be some extra issues I'm going to have to deal with, but that's all right. I also want to say hello to one other person, Robert Mack in Asia. Thank you for showing up today. And I did put something over the bird cage. We'll see if that calms them down a little. There's, you know, I don't know, hopefully. So, and I also see Roy Beck here trying to use my emojis that you helped me with. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. See what I mean? This is another thing I want to share with people is that Marshall has helped me, tried to help me with this particular problem. So Butterfire, Betty, Betty Jean, they're not coming up correctly. The emoji doesn't show up. This is what shows up.
So I found out part of what's going on is StreamYard doesn't like to show the custom emojis, but if you go on the YouTube side, they show up in the chat.
All right. I'm going to put my phone up here and check that out. I hope it's showing up on the YouTube side because, you know, you pay for something and I want people to get something out of it for, you know, for that. Okay, let's see. So it's
because the same thing happened to me. I put my new emojis in and I was doing a stream and they were showing up like this whenever I pulled them up on the StreamYard side. And I was like, no, this can't be happening. So I went and I checked on the YouTube chat. I usually have the YouTube chat open anyway.
They're showing up. So on YouTube, they are showing up. So I guess we can't really do anything about the StreamYard side, apparently.
Yeah, that sounds like they need to do like a patch or something on their end. Because the YouTube part seems to be working. Now, I haven't tried it. I don't really stream too often straight from YouTube, so I don't know.
I don't either.
Yeah, I've only done it once, but
I've done it one time too, and I wasn't a fan of it.
Yeah,
I don't remember what the glitch was, but it may be my lack of technical abilities, and that's all. But I was not a fan. I just wanted to make sure it's showing up. I see my little fire and my other little things. So thank you guys for. You can hit them. You just won't see them on StreamYard, but you will see them on your YouTube side.
Now, one thing that I did, speaking of emojis, is so I'd like to go through the YouTube Creator Studio. It's something that's free that YouTube gives to creators where you can just go and watch classes. It kind of walks you, they basically hold your hand through the whole YouTube journey. And they were talking about the custom emojis. And one thing they were talking about is to make sure for the people who might be on dark mode or people who might instead stay on the default mode where it's the white background on YouTube. If you had your emoji with some type of outline or background, not a background, but like an outline behind it, it helps it stand out whether they're on night mode or if they're on the regular, daytime mode, the white mode of YouTube. So that's what I did. I made all my backgrounds transparent. It's harder to do with, let's see, you have the Betty Jean. So since that's a whole photo, but like, for example, your fire, you could do an outline around that. Oops, apologies.
It's all right.
You got that? All right, sorry about that. But when you add some type of outline, it will show up no matter which background they're using.
So I don't know, that's the technical stuff that I struggle with. I'm not sure how to do the background. I wish I did. And I am learning. I know way more today than I would have ever thought. When I first started and decided to actually do it as a channel or do the best I could anyways, I knew nothing, really. I mean, nothing. And so I have learned some things and I like that. I enjoy it. And I do enjoy the creativity end of it. It's not where I get my energy from to do YouTube, but I do like it. So you have a great energy about you. And where do you get that from, my friend? You do really well with all the people. You do well with the technical side of it. So where's your energy come from?
So I am. When I was younger, I had a really severe anger control kind of problem.
Huh?
I mean, honestly, when you're young and you're a teenager, especially, you think you know everything and you're always right. And as you grow and develop and go through life's lessons, you kind of start to figure out that that's not really beneficial to your personality. So I studied a lot of different. Now I was raised Baptist, like Southern Baptist.
Huh?
But then when I was about 13, I just decided, I was old enough. I was like, this is not for me. Like this isn't for me. So I started researching other religions through high school, and just reading about them. And I found Buddhism.
Huh?
And while I do not claim to be Buddhist at all, I don't claim any religion now. I do agree with a lot of their philosophies and a lot of their methods, the meditation aspect, how you can control your mind, and that's one thing I always try to do is I always try to learn to be better than I was the day before, if I can. Whether that be, it all starts with controlling your thoughts. So if I don't let the negative thoughts in there, then that's, for me, I try to eliminate parts of the equation. So, and that's in anything in life. So for example, I don't ever drop my phone in the toilet. I've never have. I never will, because I've eliminated that part that would allow me to do that. I never get in that situation. I never lose my wallet because I have a system, and it's just how it is. So you start to eliminate things that cause you trouble in your life, and life starts to get seemingly easier sometimes. You still have things, obstacles, you'll still have those, but we can't control what happens to us, but we can control how we react to what happens to us. And that's a huge part of the battle. So that's what I try to do. I try to monitor my perspective at which I look at things, and I just try to go at things with a positive mindset. And I try to spread as much love and happiness, and try to support people. And because, there's joy in that. I get joy out of doing that. I like to see people's smiles when they, when I've helped them and they figure something out, and now they can move on to the next step that, maybe there was an obstacle holding them up. So, and if I can come in and help them over that obstacle, it makes me feel good. I don't have to get anything physical or monetarily out of it. Just the act of doing it and helping someone is what keeps me going. And that's just kind of how I am. I like to motivate people and inspire people. And it's just kind of how I've kind of programmed myself,
That is mind, like somebody said here, mind over matter. It can be simplified to mind over matter, but I had a really bad anger issue as a youngster too. I've had to learn how to manage those things about my personality that get triggered, because guess what? We have no control over. Yeah. I found out I have no control over anything outside of my own body, outside of my own mind. And so learning how to not take things personal, or even if it is personal, I did choose. Do I react or do I respond? And there's a difference between reaction and response. And today I know what that is like. And I don't like reacting. It's not that I never do it, but it is so uncommon, really, for me to lose my mind over something these days. But so have you found that in your, in this process, that there was anything that wasn't exactly the way you thought it would be, like what I had happened to me? Did you have happen to you, just in the travels that you have done and building it out, even that it was just like, well, I thought it was going to be this, and it's actually this?
That's a good question. And actually, there would have been more things. I'm not going to say there's not, but there would have been more if I hadn't have done so much research in the beginning. But because I had watched so many videos, and I'm a list maker, so I had things written down, and I kind of knew I had a game plan, I thought, for every system. Now, there are some things that I still don't have all the way planned out that need some development. For example, the restroom situation when you're traveling. Now, I do have a folding shovel, and there are places you can go. But, when emergency strikes, you need to have something planned.
Yes.
So that's something that's on my list. And I kind of forgot about it in the build. So now I'm like trying to figure out where can I store something, a bucket or something in my van. So that's one thing that, I need to figure out. But other than that, the food storage, I've already figured out that having a cooler and dealing with ice is not the way to go, because you're having to buy the ice every few days.
Yep.
So I'm looking now at getting a compressor fridge, I believe. Yeah, and like a mini fridge, and so that's something I'm wanting to do. Other than that, I think I have storage handled pretty well inside the van, and I probably, as Tim from Mo Bang for Your Bucks talks about a lot, I probably have too much stuff. So he always talks about going through what you're carrying and downsizing, because a lot of times we bring with us things we don't need or will never use. So I'm definitely guilty of that, because I have things in there, just in case. You never know. You might need some dice if you're playing. You might need a deck of cards if it's raining and you're stuck in the van. These are things that you can use without power that can keep you entertained. Or if you come up with some friends, meet some friends. I have a tambourine. I probably don't need a tambourine, but I'm thinking about if I have a guitar or a ukulele and I meet someone, they can have the tambourine. We could do a jam session. I just try to think ahead. But yeah, I'm victim to that. I take things that I'm bringing things that I don't necessarily need, but I like to be prepared for multiple situations.
Right. So in an RV, like we have a 20, I think it's 25 feet. It may be 20, it's 24 or 25 feet. Okay. So I packed clothes that I never even saw once we actually got out on the road. And when we were stationary at Quartzsite for the better part of 7 weeks, as it turned out, I don't need all those all the sweatshirts. I don't need, seriously, I do not need a nice pair of pants, like a dressy pair of pants. I don't know what I was thinking. I didn't know what I didn't know. And so when we do our next excursion, it would definitely be packing a little differently. And I also found out about cooking things, because it is different from a van into an RV.
Mm-hmm.
So the bathroom issue in a van, I've seen some people deal with it differently. And there's, like the shovel is a way to do it. There are collapsible toilets. I mean, in your studies, I studied this like I went to college. And in that process, I've seen so many ways for people to do that and to be prepared for it and have multiple ways, that I shocked. And by the way, I did put a sheet over the birds, and I don't know if you can still hear them, but they're still talking. So apologies. I had to be here. RVing with G. Hello, Georgie. Glad you could make it. So we, as I said, so your knowledge about, so shifting into the channel itself, how have you felt about making the move from, doing, kind of seeing YouTube being done and really starting out? And again, is it different than what you anticipated? And in what way might that be?
Well, I think that, it's because I did do a lot of research, I kind of had a really good idea of what it was going to be like. There were some influential channels that were super key. One of them is Think Media. Think Media. They're over 1 million subs now, but they teach you how to make your channel better and how to plan ahead and plan your videos and make videos that people are looking for, because that's huge. You want to make videos. You don't want to make a video that's like my 30th birthday. No one's searching for my 30th birthday on YouTube. So if you can spin it in a way to where it's like, these are 5 things you need to do for your 30th birthday, or something, 30th birthday activities. You want to word it in a way. But even before that, you can start with the YouTube search bar itself. And something I learned from Think Media, you can start doing your keyword research and type in the idea of what you were going to make a video on, see what's coming up.
Sure.
You need to know what your competition's doing.
Right.
And so from Think Media, I kind of learned to look at what the competition is doing, look at a channel that's bigger than me, that's doing the exact same thing that I want it to do. One of those channels is My Basic Journey. Chantel over there is a great channel. I've watched her channel grow from less than 1,000 subs to now she's, I think she's over 10,000 subs. Mm-hmm. And she's genuine, and she shows you all the ins and outs, her daily life, living in a minivan. She was doing exactly what I wanted to do. Now, at the time, she wasn't a super huge channel, but she was definitely an inspiration channel. Mm-hmm. And the channel I mentioned earlier, Lex and Riot, they had a trailer. Even though they didn't have a minivan, they were still an inspiration because I was wanting a trailer. I still do kind of want a trailer. Mm-hmm. And so one thing Think Media was saying is find those brands, find those channels that are doing what you want to do, but they're a little bit big, they're over 1,000, and see what they're doing, see what they're, when you go to their videos, filter by popular uploads, find their top videos, watch them, see what they're doing, and then, for example, I was doing minivan camper conversion. So I found, and I made a list of channels that were doing it, and I watched their videos, and then I started planning my videos, and I tried to just be different, mm-hmm. do it better. It's not always better, but at least the video can be more concise. And sometimes that is the only thing that you need for a video to be better. Because right. When you do a YouTube search and you're trying to find out some info, are you going to watch the 20-minute video on how to do something, or are you going to watch the 5-minute video? A lot of times you're just going to check out the shorter video. Depends on what it is too, though. So that's one thing I tried to focus on. I tried to make my videos in the beginning just shorter than what was already out there, but yet my own style. And I tried to make my build different than what was out there. So I did use the bed design from Bob Wells to an extent. I modified it, and then everything else in the van, it's different than anything else that I had seen out there. So that was something that did help my channel, mm-hmm. I think, because I was doing something that wasn't the same as what everyone else has done. It was similar, but I'm in a Caravan. Most people are in it, maybe in a Sienna. So I was targeting a really specific audience. I was targeting people who had a Dodge Grand Caravan who were wanting to build it out. And right. At first, I didn't have a build. I used a hammock, and it was a no-build build. But when I was watching these videos like Think Media, and there's another one, Sunny Leonarduzzi. She great YouTube teacher. They yes. You familiar with her?
Yes, I am.
They both of those channels just kept me inspired and motivated, and kind of laid out what to expect on YouTube, because I had watched so much of their content. I knew what each step was going to be. So I had a kind of a head start to where I could start planning for those steps, even though I wasn't at the milestones, when I started. I knew that with the right amount of attention and consistency, I could get there, along with, the keyword research and just making videos that are different, that, my own spin on it. So
right. My Basic Journey, I follow her. And I'm really working hard to try and get an interview with her. I keep at people, until someone tells me no. But when you're a larger channel, like she has built her channel really well. Yeah. And it's very basic. I love it. She was right to the heart of it. My Basic Journey. Yep. And perfect channel name. And and it is inspirational in that, even for me. I just I look at different things she does, and I think, how can I downsize, or how can I do this different? So working with a channel is So I listened to somebody one time who is very much inspirational. They're the ones, he is the one who made my little logo and whatnot, our channel art, from Northwoods RV Life. I love their channel, and this, talking about channel. So I never intend. It's never been my intention for this to be a living. As far as my goal isn't to make $5,000 a month. I mean, obviously anybody's going to be lying if they say it wouldn't be nice to have money coming in for the work that we do. But it's if I think about that as my foremost thing, I'm really going to lose out on how to make that happen. You actually yesterday, I think it was yesterday or Saturday, you made me think about something by what you put on Community tab about how to raise my own bar. And that's one of the things that I enjoy about making connection with people. It was your I'm going to try and find it here and talk with you while I do look for it and see if I can juggle these two things at once. It was on your Community tab, and let me put your name in here.
I've been trying to use that tab as much as I can, and so apologies for not knowing exactly which post you're talking about, because like I said, it's just been a lot I've been trying to put on there. Maybe too much.
No, I've got it right here, and I'm gonna share it here in just a moment and explain why I like this so much. So I would like to have a decent channel. I would like to have a nice channel, and meaning that I would like people to want to come and check things out. And here is one of the things that I really appreciate that you do right here. Look at that. All right, can you see it?
Oh, okay.
So this is up here. You've got live tonight at 4:00. You have great color, and so I looked at this. You indicate the guitar because you do play the guitar. You've got your name sideways, and a little picture of you and the car. So I love this. I really do. That made me think of my laziness as a YouTube creator. What am I creating for people to want to come and check out? That made me want to come and check out that live. And you do awesome. Really good. That's great. And I don't mind, like, I'm used to learning from a group of people. I don't have any original ideas. I'm just saying, if anybody thinks I got anything original, it is not original. And that's okay. I'm learning how to do things from other people. So you've mentioned My Basic Journey, Bob Wells. He's the only reason I'm here to start with. I always give Bob the first glory, because that man, what he's done to inspire people is phenomenal. And I think you might know, I missed 2 appointments with him. Did you hear it? Yes. The reason I went to Quartzsite was I had, he was going to do a video, do his tour of our RV. And I had to drive, I was the lone driver going down, and I was short by a day. And so I did let him know what was going on. And so they rescheduled me. Bob Wells, they rescheduled me. And I was so excited. We cleaned the RV tip to toe. It was spiffed up, and they had the original. So they drop a pin. They send a little note about, okay, you're going to get this interview, and here's where we want you to be, with a little pin. And I opened up the wrong pin the day we went to meet him. We were 40 miles apart. And I was heartbroken, and I was totally humiliated. I really thought about stopping my channel right then and there. So overcoming hurdles. So there was a reason me and Bob were not supposed to meet this season in Quartzsite. It's just, I had to come to terms with that and, explain, I'm really not as much of an idiot as that looked like. And so I'm learning how to overcome obstacles. Have there been any obstacles that you have had to overcome in either your channel or your literally getting out to travel?
There definitely have been, and you know that you're saying the bad word there. I'm just kidding. Obstacles. There are things that come up, and dealing with my financial situation this last year and a half has been an obstacle. So I've had to pivot and try to go other routes on that front. That has been an obstacle. Another obstacle I really wasn't quite expecting because honestly I don't know. I guess I'm just used to everyone really getting along with me. But when the first time someone blocked me, that was kind of an obstacle for a little bit, but quickly got past that. Trying to think of what else. The negative, I've only gotten a couple of negative comments, and YouTube has great like spam filtering, and that was when I first started my channel. I don't really get any negative comments anymore. I don't know if it's something I've done setting wise or what, but those negative comments can be an obstacle. Don't let those negative comments get to you if you're a creator out there. Just ignore those. Those are the best thing to do. Other than that, I'd say my biggest obstacle is the financial part, just the uncertainty with my financial situation right now. I'm looking for the next movie or commercial that I can get on. But with the loss of our tax incentives here, like I said, a lot of the movies are not shooting here, and they won't be. Good news is we got our incentives reinstated this year.
Oh, good.
So we will have movies again, but it will take 9 months before they realize they can come here again. Kentucky's a beautiful state, highly underrated state. I highly recommend you come. There's some particular parts of Kentucky that are just really magical. Some parts you want to avoid.
It looks. I'll tell you. I would say Kentucky. When you say the word Kentucky, I think green.
Lots of green here. There's a lot to see. So, and actually, I just found out one of the movies I worked on is on Netflix. It wasn't on there. They just put it on there yesterday.
Oh.
And that was shot in Kentucky. It's a lot of green. It's a horror movie though. So,
What's the name of it?
It's called The Devil Below.
Okay.
So
Richard likes horror movies. I like some. I don't have the kind of fear I used to have, but so I will. And our son likes those kind of movies. So there's a question there for you. What's the I, Marshall?
So that is an idea I got from the Creator Academy. The I is for those who like to lurk in the chat. And they don't want to chat. They just want to drop an eyeball to let me know they're lurking. They're watching.
Yeah.
They're watching in the background. They don't need to chat. They're just there.
I say that sometimes. I learned from Blue Wave Odyssey, working and lurking. And I do that a lot. And I'll have to mute sometimes when I'm having to think, because I use my headphones while I'm sitting here at this particular location. And yeah, he can do music, sing, draw, build. As a matter of fact, from something that I learned recently, I tried on this particular thumbnail. I believe I put I followed a line. Let's say I'm going to use the word lineage. So with the title, I put a certain stuff in there, and then I did the same thing in the description. And that's why I asked for a picture of your your van, because I tried to put van in every single one of those, from the picture, a literal picture of a van, to the word van life, and then putting in the description. And that's one of the things that I've learned listening to other people talk about how to properly do this end of it.
That's a great tip. And another tip that not too many people talk about, but so when I make the thumbnail, I title the thumbnail when I save the file with the same exact title that the video is going to be titled. This is a really small step most creators probably miss, but because it's a search engine, YouTube is owned by Google,
right?
Probably the largest search engine out there. they look at everything. They look at your file names. If your file name has the same name as your video, as your description, as all of it, your tags, it's going to help you rank better for that keyword. So if the thumbnail is usually the very last thing I make, and that's because I want to make sure I have my title correct and all my other details filled in on the description and my tags. But then when I do the thumbnail, I just make sure I save it with the exact same title as what keywords I'm targeting for that video.
Okay.
And that's just a little, it's probably not a huge help, but every little bit I try to utilize all the available strategies. So that's just something I do. Now I'm still new with graphic design, but I love to learn and try to just continue to get better. And one thing I've been doing is those community, on my community tab, I've been making GIFs. So they're kind of animated in the hope it'll kind of catch people's eyes as they're scrolling. They might see some movement on there. I don't know if that's working yet, but it's something I'm trying to do. And I think that's what it's all about with YouTube, is just trying as much as possible, because what might work for me might not work for you, and what might work for you might not work for the next person. There are some key things that do work, like what we've talked about: your titles, your tags, your description, making sure all that lines up. But my thing is just to try as much as possible and see, as long as it's nothing negative, why not give it a try? So,
even if it means learning something new, and the gifts, I've seen that option as something that I could do on I use PicMonkey to do most of my thumbnails. And one of the things that it identifies that I could be doing is making a GIF. So eventually I will probably try that. And let's see, Event City Adventure says SEO is important. Yes, it is important. 15 people and 50% of the comments is read. Yes. Hey, it's all good. I mean, I love having comments, having ability to interact with people, and that's why I like live streams. Is it's that element that we don't really get. We can see comments come in on a video and then respond back, but it's not necessarily the same thing as in real life. So let's see, we are almost at 12, I believe. Yeah, we're right at 12 o'clock. And I want to say thank you so much, Marshall, for coming and spending some time with us and talking with the channel. And I'm learning stuff from you. And by the way, I appreciate that if I send you an email and I'm like, I need some assistance, you're right there. And I always want to be able to do that eventually for other people. If there's any way, because I come from a place of helping. My training, my professional training and my personal training is about what can I do for someone else. And I appreciate being able to partner with somebody and come on here and have you chatting about how things you've done, how it's working for you, what's not working, and giving that to another person potentially. So I
appreciate you having me very much, very much. Thank you for allowing me this time, and thank you for your questions and just this opportunity.
All right, Marshall. Well, thank you, and I'm hoping to see you back here again sometime.
For sure. I'm a channel member.
Yeah, so. You have a great day.
You too. Right. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye. All right. So thank you so much. Tracy Ocean Fire. All right. Here's an opportunity for me to try this. Thank you, Tracy. I'm going to do something here. If I can, video files, what I need to get to. And this is my little for Super Chat. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate it. All right. So I want to say thank you to everybody for showing up. A quick update on what's happening with us. Richard sees a neurosurgeon today for his neck. His neck is very bad. I know that the doctor moved his appointment up by about 2 weeks. And so we will see what comes up, how that turns out. He's seeing him at 2 o'clock. And my surgery is, of course, a week from this Friday. It's the 25th. And I'm trying to fill up the next several weeks with things, different things, and see what we can do between now and the 25th, because I believe that the following week I will probably be out completely. But I'll tell you what, I recovered just like that. I am not somebody who enjoys laying in bed and whining about how bad I feel. And so once they fix this problem, it will be definitely something that I am able to do different things once we're past it. So that's what's happening, and everything is good. I really don't have any fear about it. I have a great surgeon. Our neurosurgeon is fantastic. He's great. For me, he's a god. So I will be looking at other people's videos this week, and also in my recovery time, I plan on doing more of that even. And I really do appreciate you guys, and I'm hoping that we could keep doing this for a long, long time. So have a great day, and be safe, be healthy, and know you're loved.